This tree has been of great interest to me for a number of years. Nestled in the Scottish countryside, overhanging a steep gorge, and in an area filled with a wealth of history, its character has always been striking to me. Every time I come to this location, I find myself stopping to admire its presence, especially this branch. It reminds me of a creature of sorts, its head guarding the river's edge. Although the branch appears to be dead, it has gained a new life by filling my imagination with stories and visually grabbing my attention. In this week's catch-up with my online community members, a discussion arose about photography being a reflection of ourselves. As I stand here today, once again feeling drawn to this tree, I begin to contemplate what it says about me. How does this branch in particular make me feel? What is it saying to me? With my attention being drawn to it, and it alone, am I missing other opportunities? Is it clouding me from what is behind? Being a photographer, I have attempted to photograph this branch on a number of occasions, with little success. However, a couple of weeks ago, coincidentally on the same day as last week's video, where I was photographing the mythical creatures in the river, I looked beyond this branch for the first time. There was stunning light and beautiful orange leaves behind it.
It is so beautiful. I cannot quite put into words how beautiful this tree is.
The beauty of this really grabbed my attention, both how the light illuminated the leaves, but also the rocks that lined the river's gorge beneath. Symbolically, it felt like something had lifted for me.
There are so many photographs just in this one space.
There was opportunity and light behind the branch creature, the creature that had grabbed my attention for so long.
Every time I look through my telephoto lens, I see new opportunities with this tree.
Of course, the light and autumn colours made this moment, something which is not always present. But if we go back to the discussion about photography being a reflection of ourselves, this moment reflected a shift that I had felt internally, which then led me on to creating the images you're about to see. The light was quite simply spectacular, and I was so drawn into how it illuminated both the leaves, but also the tiny branches. My attention was then drawn downwards to the rocks beneath, where the leaves which had once been a part of the tree had lay to rest. The relationship between the tree and the rock spoke to me so deeply. Following the creation of those images and reflecting on the discussion I'd had with the community, I came to the conclusion that the branch creature had represented my fears. By focusing on these, I was unable to see the opportunities available to me. But now, following some internal work and a shift of perspective, I could see opportunity everywhere. And my goodness, when my attention was shifted to something else and away from my fears, I loved the opportunities that it opened up.
This idea of photography being a reflection of ourselves, I think it's quite a powerful one. It may not be something that you feel compelled to explore in your own photography, but one thing I'm realising more and more as I progress with my own work is how we all see the world so differently, how we're all drawn to different things, how we both see different opportunities and different photographs in locations. When I'm hosting workshops or events and I get a group of people to go out to the exact same location with the exact same subjects and opportunities in front of them, every single person in that group ends up photographing something different because everybody sees the location that we're at in a different way. And it's really, really beautiful. And the same thing happens when I create monthly themes for my online community. Every single person goes out and interprets that theme in a different way and photographs things that speak to them within the theme. And then we come together and share those things, whether it's in a workshop situation or online in the community. Everybody gains inspiration and ideas from each other, but we also begin to learn more about the photographer behind the images and what they personally see in the world and their personal vision. So when you watch my YouTube videos or anybody else's videos that you may enjoy, you're seeing that photographer's vision, what they see when they're out with their camera. And many of you will seek some inspiration from that. You'll come away with new ideas, new things to try. Sometimes those photographers may do things that you don't quite relate to and don't quite resonate with and don't want to try. But equally, that just helps you to understand yourself better, what your own photographic interests are, and even your own interests in life. What I went into in this video about that tree or that branch particularly with that monster-like face being a representation of my fears. My interpretation of that could change over time, but one thing I really realised creating this video and everything that's happened in the last few weeks is for so long there have been things in my life that have caused me fear and things that continue to cause me fear, as we all do. Each and every one of us has fears, things we're afraid to do, things that we maybe want to do or pursue in life, but for one reason or another, whether it's imposter syndrome, not feeling like we're good enough, fear of failure, whatever it may be, we stop ourselves because we are afraid of something, of being judged, of being disliked, of being different. But what this video has made me realise, and the creation of those images, is when we can look past those fears and look at the opportunities that are available to us, a whole world opens up in front of us. And if we apply this particularly to the photography element, every time I went to that location, I'm drawn every single time to that branch. And of course, it's different, it's unique, it's beautiful, it stands out. It has this creature, monster-like feature, which I guess in some ways makes it relatable. But because I was always so drawn to that in particular, I just wasn't seeing everything else that was going on around me. And this is the message that I feel I'd like to end this video on this week. When you're out with your camera, if you go to a location over and over again, maybe somewhere in your local area, do you find you keep getting drawn to the same thing over and over again? And if you do, I wonder if maybe stepping back and really exploring why that subject speaks to you so much, if it will maybe reflect something back to you about your own life, your own emotions, your own experience, your own memories. Is it a positive thing or is it a barrier? I feel it could be quite an interesting thing to explore, because if we do go out time and time again and we find that we're connecting with the same thing every single time, if it brings us joy, that can be a great thing. But if it's preventing us from seeing all these other opportunities and maybe even making us feel a bit restricted or a bit down, can we change our perspective to see what else is around it? And does that open up something new and exciting for us? And I think for my own process, something that's really helped me with this idea has been undertaking the Mindful Photography Facilitators Training Programme that I'm just about to finish. Over the last couple of months, I've been doing that with Look Again Photography. And it's really helped me to explore my own photographic journey from a perspective that when I'm out and I see something, I look at a subject, can I look at it again in much more detail? And when I do look at it again in more detail, what do I see? Do I see more shapes, more textures, more patterns, more opportunities? Do I connect with it on a much deeper level? Does it help me to go deeper into a mindfulness and maybe even a meditative state? And pretty much every time the answer is yes, because the more that we look at something, the more we begin to see, the more we are connected in that present moment, which stops us thinking and connecting with everything else that may be going on in our minds, causing us stress and unease. And we're just there right now in that moment. I mean, even just right now, me looking at this tree beside me and looking at this beautiful lichen growing on it, I'm looking again at it and I'm seeing so much beauty within it, the intricacy, the shapes, the patterns, the colour, how it is in relation to the tree that it's growing on. I'm seeing more and more the therapeutic benefits of getting out into nature and doing photography. And I just hope that this video's maybe given you something to think about in your own journey. Can you bring some of these concepts more into your photography? And when you look at your images, whether it's in the field when you're creating them or whether it's when you get back home when you're looking at them on the computer, why was that subject speaking to you? And is it saying something to you that you maybe want to explore further, or that maybe just brings you happiness and joy? I just feel looking at these things can bring more meaning into our own photographic work. And it's something that I'm personally enjoying doing a lot in my own right now. Before I came out today to film the end of this video, I came across a YouTube video about unplugging from social media and about developing a deeper connection with nature. I thought it was really, really beautiful, and one thing I'm going to do moving forwards when I feel compelled to do so is at the end of a video share somebody else's work with you, somebody that's created something inspiring and thought-provoking that can maybe help you to think more deeply about your own life and your own work. And this week it's this beautiful video here. I'd highly recommend checking it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all a very blessed and creative week.